Sindh Chief Minister Murad Ali Shah on Tuesday urged opposition parties and lawyers protesting the proposed 6 canals on the Indus River to avoid causing public inconvenience, particularly by blocking highways. Speaking at a press conference alongside Cardinal Joseph Coutts, he acknowledged the legitimacy of the protests but stressed they should not disrupt essential services or daily life. The CM reiterated that the Sindh government halted work on the controversial 𝐒𝐭𝐨𝐫𝐢 irrigation project in July 2024 and had raised formal objections at the Council of Common Interests in June. Shah also called for a national shift in water policy, focusing on increasing water efficiency and productivity instead of building new canals, which he said would harm Sindh and offer little national benefit. On Pak-Afghan border front, over 100,000 Afghans have left Pakistan in the past 3 weeks as the government intensifies its second phase of deportations, the Interior Ministry confirmed Tuesday. The latest crackdown, which began on March 31, targets holders of Afghan citizen cards and follows last year's mass expulsion of undocumented migrants. Many Afghans are departing voluntarily, fearing arrest or mistreatment. The UNHCR has raised concerns over the humanitarian impact, noting that more than half of those deported are children. In March, Pakistan cancelled over 800,000 residence permits, urging those awaiting third country resettlement to leave by the end of April. Afghanistan's Prime Minister Hassan Akhund condemned the deportations, calling for a dignified return of refugees. Meanwhile, arrests and detentions have spiked, with April alone seeing nearly 13,000 cases, more than the entire previous year. Meanwhile, on economic front, Pakistan received $12.5 billion in foreign loans during the first 9 months of FY 2024-25, falling short of its $19.2 billion annual target, according to the Economic Affairs Division. Nearly half of the inflows came from legacy rollovers, $3 billion from Saudi Arabia, $2 billion from the UAE, and $1 billion from China, while fresh loans and grants amounted to $5.51 billion, down 20% from the same period last year. Multilateral disbursements reached $2.83 billion, but bilateral inflows dropped significantly to $358.5 million. Meanwhile, commercial financing rose, with $504 million from UAE-based lenders and $1.455 billion via Naya Pakistan certificates, a notable jump from $781 million last year. With $9 billion in expected support from China and Saudi Arabia, including safe and time deposits, Pakistan is relying heavily on external backing to meet its IMF program goals. During a 4-day visit to India, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance announced plans to expand American energy and defense exports to India, calling the bilateral relationship key to shaping a prosperous and peaceful 21st century. Speaking in Jaipur, Vance praised Prime Minister Narendra Modi as a tough negotiator after the two leaders made progress on a potential trade pact. India is pushing to finalize the first stage of this deal by autumn, ahead of the expiration of a temporary tariff freeze. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Modi landed in Saudi Arabia for his third official visit, aiming to deepen ties with the oil-rich Gulf nation. Calling the India-Saudi relationship mutually beneficial and strategic, Modi is set to meet the Indian diaspora and hold high-level meetings during his 2-day trip. Saudi Arabia remains India's third-largest oil supplier and hosts over 2 million Indian nationals, whose remittances significantly impact India's economy. However, back home, tragedy struck in occupied Kashmir where at least 24 tourists were killed in one of the deadliest attacks on civilians in recent years. The assault, which took place in Pahalgam, saw gunmen open fire on a group of visitors. A little-known group, the Kashmir Resistance, claimed responsibility, citing opposition to the settlement of non-locals in the region. Indian leaders, including Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah, condemned the attack, vowing strict action against the perpetrators. The violence casts a shadow over government efforts to promote the region as a safe tourist destination and raises renewed concerns over growing unrest in the disputed territory. A massive explosion at a military warehouse in Russia's Vladimir region on Tuesday triggered evacuations in the 𝐒𝐭𝐨𝐫𝐢 district, with local authorities declaring a state of emergency. The Defense Ministry attributed the blast to safety breaches that led to ammunition detonations. While no casualties were reported, multiple explosions were heard, prompting reinforcements from neighboring fire departments. Videos showed towering flames and thick smoke, with residents from the villages of Barsovo and Mirny being evacuated. This incident highlights ongoing safety issues at Russian military sites, occurring amid increased tensions both at home and abroad. Meanwhile, Ukraine's port city of Odessa was hit by a large-scale Russian drone attack overnight, injuring 3 civilians and damaging homes, vehicles, and infrastructure. Ukrainian forces intercepted 38 of 54 drones launched, while others were likely diverted by electronic defenses. Videos showed emergency crews battling fires in residential areas. With Odessa frequently targeted during the now 4-year-long war, President Volodymyr Zelensky reiterated his call for a 30-day halt to civilian-targeted strikes. However, peace prospects remain dim. Both Moscow and Kyiv accused each other of stalling talks on a ceasefire, while U.S. President Donald Trump warned he may abandon mediation if no progress is made. Kremlin officials insisted Kyiv must lift legal blocks on direct negotiations, while Ukraine maintained its openness to dialogue, if Russia shows sincerity. In a broader warning to Europe, Dutch military intelligence reported an uptick in Russian hybrid attacks, including cyber-sabotage attempts on Dutch public services and critical infrastructure. Although thwarted, the incident marked the first such attack in the Netherlands, part of a wider campaign of espionage and disruption targeting Europe. The report also flagged China's increasing cyber-espionage, especially within the Dutch semiconductor industry. Both Russia and China were cited as growing threats, with Dutch intelligence stressing that Europe's military response remains too slow to match Russia's buildup. With physical and digital warfare intensifying across the region, the need for accelerated defense preparedness is becoming urgent.